midterm Vietnam Business Forum discussed business climate. Investment and trade ties between Vietnam and New Zealand. Hello from Hanoi and welcome to BizLine, brought to you by VTV International. You're with me, Ling Hu. Vietnam and New Zealand will celebrate the 40th anniversary of their diplomatic relations on June 19th. The two countries' bilateral relationship now features regular high-level political visits, expanding trade and business links, ongoing development assistance and cooperation in newer areas such as science and technology, two-way investment, education links and trade in services. On the occasion of the 40th anniversary of the two countries' diplomatic relationship, we have been invited to our studio Mr. Haike Manning, a New Zealand's ambassador to Vietnam, to discuss the two countries' flourishing economic cooperation. Ambassador Manning, it's a pleasure to have you with us in our show today.
Thank you.
First of all, what do you think about the strengths and weaknesses of Vietnam's business environment?
Firstly, thank you very much for having me on the show today. It's a great pleasure to be back with VTV again, particularly on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between our two countries. In terms of the investment climate and the investment environment here in Vietnam, I think the first thing to say is that obviously the country is starting to really grow quite well. We're seeing good growth of the economy, and we're also seeing good macroeconomic stability, which I think is really important and something that investors look for. I think in terms of some of the things that investors also look at, they look for regulatory certainty, and they look at things like the transparency of decision making. They look at things like the speed of decision making and the clarity around the rules. And I think all those things are things that Vietnam will continue to improve and will need to improve to really attract all the FDI that it wants to see into the country in the coming years.
New Zealand's Special Agriculture Trade Envoy Mike Peterson undertook an official visit to Vietnam last year, highlighting the commitments of ongoing development in this sector between the two countries. What is the potential of New Zealand investment in Vietnam's agriculture sector?
We see agriculture obviously as a major strength for New Zealand, and as we look at the development of Vietnam's agricultural sector, Vietnam is really a powerhouse, I think, in the region already in terms of food production, and there's a lot of opportunity for Vietnam to become a real major power in that space. So what we want to do is we want to take some of the knowledge and experience that we have from our farming systems and from our experience with genetics and producing high-yield varieties and see if we can apply it here to help Vietnam really improve incomes for farmers and get better returns from its agricultural production. In addition to that, I can see that obviously as we're seeing the entry of a number of major industrial players here in Vietnam into the agribusiness sector, we can see a lot of opportunity to partner with some of those private organisations to really bring the expertise and the skills. For example, in the area of dairy production, where New Zealand is very strong, to provide genetics, animals and embryos and all these sorts of things, and veterinary services. All these types of things are things where we think we can partner successfully with Vietnam for the benefit of both countries.
Klever Fruits, a Vietnamese company, has been importing New Zealand apples, kiwis, cherries, and persimmons to supply to the domestic market for the past 4 years. Thanks to the assistance of the New Zealand Embassy and participating in international trade fairs, Klever Fruits can seek trade partners and bring high-quality New Zealand fruits to domestic consumers.
Chúng tôi cũng biết là Đại sứ quán New Zealand, đặc biệt là ngài đại sứ, thì ngài luôn luôn là rất là chủ động trong cái việc là mở rộng cái thị trường về trái cây ở Việt Nam, cũng như là tạo điều kiện cho Việt Nam có thể là xuất khẩu vào New Zealand. Và trong cái thời gian tới thì tôi tin rằng là cũng với một cái tốc độ như vậy thì cả hai nước cũng sẽ mở rộng ra thêm ra là kéo dài thêm ra cái danh sách mà cả hai bên có thể là xuất khẩu vào lẫn nhau. Và chính vì vậy tôi cũng mong muốn là có thể là như vậy thì chúng ta cũng sẽ xuất khẩu được nhiều hơn vào New Zealand và New Zealand cũng sẽ xuất khẩu được nhiều hơn vào chúng ta, và như vậy tạo nên những cái hiệu ứng rất là tích cực đối với cả doanh nghiệp cũng như là đối với người tiêu dùng của hai nước.
In addition to dairy products and fruits, other New Zealand's major exports to Vietnam include timber and wood products and seafood. Last year, total exports from New Zealand to Vietnam reached over $478 million. On the other hand, Vietnamese goods exported to New Zealand mainly includes electronics, machinery and equipment, textiles and footwear, furniture, fruits and vegetables, and seafood. In 2014, Vietnam's total exports to New Zealand reached $316 million.
Well, thank you very much for spending your time with us in our show today.
Thank you.
June 19th this year marks the 40th anniversary of Vietnam-New Zealand diplomatic ties. The two countries have pledged to strengthen their comprehensive partnership in which trade and investment play an important part. Along with a significant boost in trade between the two sides, evidenced by the 120% growth rate in two-way trade in the past 5 years, the bilateral cooperation in many other important areas, including agriculture, education, tourism, and aviation, have also been expanded. And that just concluded our episode of BizLine. Thank you very much for being with us. For more updates, please log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. And goodbye for now from Hanoi.